well, like usually PvP and high stakes, if my ping was like, because it's all based on ping, it's your reaction time is how fast you get the information and how fast you can pull off a skill. If your ping's too fucking high, then you're just playing against a tide. So eventually I just had to quit so many games because my ping was so bloody high at like maybe 300, 400. That's not competitive at all. You can't do anything.
Yeah, that's where we're going to see these problems with current games, because there's a lot of first-person shooter games coming out at the moment as to where their servers are. So look at the Warzone events that happen in Grape all the time. They're mostly run by Europeans, and that's not against Europeans. That's where we're getting the most stages from. We need Mr. Savage to start firing up Sergeant Savage and doing local Australian events. Get him down in a Australian server, or even a Southeast Asian somewhere down here would be nice.
Yeah, we should get the C region going.
But I mean, it comes down to I mean, shit. I'm kind of waiting for Chain Myth. Honestly, I want to get back into first person shooters, and I'm going to use that as Chain Myth. But it is time. It is kickoff time, 9:02 Queensland time. Welcome along to everyone. At the moment, there is only 24 people on stage. Cavan will be our first. Is that something from Magic the Gathering? Seeing that, a green creature. We've got Cavan from Soliens coming into stage. We'll do our normal introductions. We'll actually invite him on and start talking about the project and lead into Star Atlas, because they've got something super important that they're doing with their DAO and with their funds, and it ties in so deeply to what we want to be doing with Grape. So it's awesome to see Riptide in stage as well. We'll get you up later on too, dude. Congratulations on getting the researcher upgrade. But let's do the introductions to stage, then we'll talk about a few things. Sixon, how's your week been?
Yeah, my week's pretty good. Back to work on Friday, so hopefully my internet isn't too shit. It's been a pretty good week. There's been a few updates from the Metagates team. There's a pet mint coming in February. The date's not announced just yet. The pets will be non-PvP items. They'll be sort of Care Bears in town arena battling, such, if that interests you. I'll probably post it in this Solana Gaming chat later.
Sounds like we're at a order board at Dude Where's My Car at the moment. So yeah, we'll pause on Metagates at the moment, Sixon.
Coming up, or the poo burns. I start next week.
It does, doesn't it? It sounds like an order board at Dude Where's My Car.
Interested in buying some.
Yeah,
I'll just mute him for now. I'm just going to mute you, Sixon. Metaverse, how's your week been, dude?
All right. Yes, my weekend has been okay. My week has been okay. Work's been good. I've actually got some hopeful news. I've got an interview at a university very soon where I'm going to be teaching my profession. And hopefully I get this job and I'll be able to like progress in my career and my profession, which is nursing. Apart from that, I've been enjoying Solana recently, helping some products with some interviewing, helping them showcase their product in Solana, because Grape is all about helping Solana grow. So overall, it's been a kind of a good week so far.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. So you're actually pushing into your profession deeper, which is because you know, like you talk about it on your videos and that you want to actually stream Star Atlas and other games and make your world in the metaverse, I guess we would call it. So what's made you change to going to teach?
So it hasn't been a change in kind of actions. It's just been like from the last, before Web3 was around, I already had a set goal, like a life goal and professional goal as well, career goal. And I'm still going towards there. But at the same time, I feel like you can still pursue Web3 integration into your life at the same time. So while I'm like my end aim is to be a Star Atlas streamer. Star Atlas is not going to be out for the next 5 years. So what am I going to do in the meantime? I don't want to be like a floor nurse for the next 5 years. At least I can get into education. I can start teaching people. And you know, life is all about using skills that you've gained in all different places and trying to make a better product, or do whatever you're doing, make it a bit better, integrate it. Look at Elon Musk. He knows like so many different fields of science and technology. So I'm doing this because I feel like I want to better myself as a person, and then secondarily as a professional clinician. Yeah, so I'm just doing it because I can.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Six, and you were lagging out a little bit, Six, and so for now we'll talk about Metagates just maybe a little bit later, and then that way your internet will come good as it gets a bit later. Someone's just saying live questions aren't open. Ponty, it should be open, Ponty. So it's actually a little bit different at the moment. I don't actually think it gets closed now. If you want to have a look at that Metaverse, so it's been a really big week. Metaverse actually did was it Grade A? Is that Class A? I've always got to check.
It was the Gorilla Class A benefits video, and it was probably, to be honest, it's probably the better of the productions that I've made so far. I take great inspiration from Coin Bureau, or Guy from Coin Bureau. Very clean, nicely done, very clear. If you haven't seen it, people go and see it. We might link it in the chat right now.
So can you tell us what our numbers are at the moment for the month of February? What do we need? What do we need to hold Grape wise to be able to be members at Grape?
I to be honest, I don't even remember. I haven't be keeping up to it, because the whole point is once you hold it, once you get your Grape membership, just get airdrop the amounts that you need to keep your membership. Yeah, so I think at the moment we're at 25,000 or 24,000, because the last epoch was changed. It wasn't like a flat rate increase. We changed to like a 5% increase or something. So I don't want to don't quote me on this. I think it's about 24 or 25,000 at the moment.
Yeah, I think we might have to find a better option of that. It says read only. So yeah, definitely people cannot access live questions. I know Savage, the missus, she's an A class as well. She can't access the live channel.
I'm just looking into it now.
Yeah, so for people listening, and that's why someone asked me this question, and I kind of lose track of it myself, but originally Grape started as 1,000, 5,000, and 20,000 as the 3 class levels, and every month you get, perfect. Every month you get airdrop the additional Grape that actually is required, so it goes up. Originally it was 10, 50, and 200. The month would go up, but you would be airdrop that. So your Grape would actually be growing just from sitting there. And you could take that out at any stage. There's no lockup period or anything like that. But to hold that, to be able to do, to get into events, do those kinds of things, we do a shitload of gaming events here. You can have a look down at the events tab, and there's pokers. I was devastated to see Warcraft 3 is my 4 a.m. I was like, oh my absolute God. I would play that. They're not huge prizes. I think it's like 5,000 Grape prizes, but it's actually it's a gamified way of playing something, and that is a game that I played for years. I still dream about it, working on the boat, and I would come home from work, and me and my best mate at the time, or still my best mate, we would actually just smash out Warcraft 3 for days and days until World of Warcraft came out, and that was back in 2002 from memory. So it's awesome to see a lot of the games and events, Hearthstone, poker out the arse, but also, there's a lot of AMAs, a lot of live events. You get a lot of things airdropped through owning Grape. Mean Protocol's another one. You got Mean tokens, but we do a lot of other things here at Grape as well. We do a lot of AMAs. There's a lot of degenerate plays through DeFi and all of that kind of stuff. We've got a lot of extra resources available, through the alpha channels, through the Shilzine that's been taken on board. We've got the daily Grapevine. There's all of these extra products that we don't talk about enough every week. But True. they are definitely there, and Metaverse works hard doing his extra things. Wales Friend works hard doing his extra things. We've got Grizz has come on board now. He does live trading and how to do look at the markets and be able to read a graph and all of that properly. So definitely something that we don't talk about enough.
It's like. So sorry to interrupt you. It's like Grape has grown a lot more than what it used to be. We have so many different products that we're now delivering. There's a magazine, there's videos, there's AMAs, there's tutorials. There's so many things that we don't really mention. It might be worthwhile for us to have like a giant kind of space where we say, this is what Grape does. This belongs under the Grape banner. And like, yeah, we don't mention it often enough. We have a TA guy who's very good. I sat in on one of his lessons, and man, he knew what he was talking about, and very valuable information.
And it is, that's right. So it's awesome to, like, you can hear the passion from me, you can hear the passion from Metaverse. We're not doing this because we get paid by Grape to shill the product. Grape itself is a product. We're creators, first and foremost, community creators, and we earn our emissions every month, but people can come alongside us. Sixon's now a level 2 community creator, and that was just starting from, jumping on stage with me and talking about games, and that's progressed. He started doing crowd prizes, so there will be 2,000 Grape given away every week, and I was actually having a think about that. We'll try and get that bumped up to 2,500. They go to verified and C-class members priority, so the aim there is to be able to get our members raised so they're able to participate in the bigger events, the B class and that. And I want to get back to getting some NFTs for the crowd. I mentioned that at the start of the night before we got into it. So last year we got a whole heap of NFTs handed out, and this year it's been a little bit different, I guess, because I've been working with Step N, and I'm managing to bring in events to the stage, with the Jogging with Barn Dog events, and get NFTs that way. So I've kind of forgotten a little bit about the Saturday night, but we've only got 20-30 guests but at the moment, but it is an amazing way for us to be able to bring these people to stage, to bring these great games and get some things going. We brought Photo Finisher stage last year for an AMA with Ian, and I think that kindled a lot of people's thoughts into the actual game a lot more, and now we've got a 400 plus Solana stable getting built out, so that is an amazing achievement in itself.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys kind of taking this giant initiative into Solana Gaming. Like 400 Solana, that's a lot of money. And there's a lot of people interested in it. So that means this protocol or this game has a lot of credibility if you guys are happy to put this capital to it.
And that's it. So we got over.
It's going to be massive.
Well, Sixon was, umming and ahhing about it at this stage, but Sixon's made money because he bought. It was actually cool to see a personal mate take advice. So he's only bought 4 or 5 games at the moment, but he bought a Philly back with the what do you call it, the auction where you bid one between, it was
Fair Launch Protocol.
Yeah, FLP.
Fair Launch Protocol.
And he got the affiliate 1 Solana, and I think that would probably be worth 25 to 30 Solana at the moment. So it's been really cool to see personal gains from friends, first and foremost. But if you've listened to any of the projects we've talked about, normally we get some pretty awesome projects. Portals, Metaverse did an AMA and an interview, and we hammered on about that. That was, between 4 minutes to mint that. That was a huge one. That's sitting at 60. I don't want to go over the old ones as much, but we've had so many great projects coming on stage. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be getting Metagates back. They came on 3 weeks ago, so it'll be 4 weeks. They've had a huge amount of updates since then. That was a really big success from looking at getting them on stage, checking their very first micro mint, and actually what's happened to that over the last month. But they've got a whole heap of gameplay, and like I try to say to people, I'm here for the games. I want to be playing these games myself. And then the week after, I'm hoping, it's not guaranteed yet, but I'm hoping to get Shade on stage. So if you have a look at Dot Shade, so put a dot in, or you can type in Dot Shade on Twitter. I actually put them on a video last night, one of my research videos. I had 7 projects on there. And these guys look good. They've got gameplay coming in February. So gameplay, actual gameplay of racing and track. And you're not actually buying the race cars. You're buying it's one of their female characters. They've got 5,555, and they're going to mint somewhere around 150 or 160 US dollars. That's the aim, which, if people remember Chainmyth, when they came to Solana, I hyped up them a lot based on the fact they entered at $180, and it was 1.2 Solana at the time, and they kept that for their next mint. But these guys want to mint at 150, 160, and it's fucking amazing that they're thinking about the players. That NFT that you get, the female character, that's going to be access to multiple games. They're building out something kind of similar to botboards. I don't want to use the botboards as an exact example, but similar, where they're going to be having multiple games building out. So I'm really keen to do that. That's going to be a possibility that, we bring them here. We might be able to get a great amount of whitelist for our members. And we know that that's a big hot topic at the moment in Solana, in NFTs and in the gaming side of NFTs, is getting in whitelists through being in communities. And Grape is a community in itself, isn't it? We should be getting those whitelists, and we had them for, what was it, the Sovana mint, and that happens in 2 days' time.
Yeah, I think some of the benefits of being part of Grape. All the whitelists that you get availability into. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, and I'm very happy that you make contact with these Solana Gamings, and it just helps me keep an eye on who I should be paying attention to, who I give my attention to. So I personally, I just want to say thank you because your videos are pretty good for me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Because I still think sometimes they're long, but I don't think I dawdle in the videos too much. I think I try to get on point. I'm not going to I'm not going to be able to see everything. I've got Sergeant Savage really helps me with the research. Sixon also helps with the research. Sixon writes papers at times. He does a lot of research for the Fine Fillies and Stylish Studs. So the third time, Savage we haven't got on the payroll yet as that. We're going to be creating. At the moment, there's a gaming council role in Grape, but it's very hard to signify a price to that. So Savage is a real life mate. This, we're mates first and foremost, and this is what I want to be playing games with me mates. But this photo finish initiative that we're getting in, I'm so happy that that's going because we've got new people that have actually joined the syndicate that I haven't talked to before, and they want to join it based on the team. And we've got a Grape suite. That's going to be super awesome. Next week, I've got an AMA with a company called Lux VR Metaverse. We may be able to get a Grape plot of land from them. So, there's...
Dude, so I was researching Lux before you mentioned them in your last video. I'm part of another group that said, hey, this NFT is looking pretty good right now. So you're onto something there, I think.
No, that's not me. This is the funny thing. This is Grape working for it. So they actually contacted Whale's friend. And Whale's friend had 3 AMAs, plus he's traveling somewhere this week. So he's just asked me as the gaming guru. So it's just kind of filtered down. You know what it's like. Our AMAs get filtered through our content creators. Yeah. Is sometimes one person's swamped. So next week I've got 2 AMAs. I've got Mysteria and Lux. Lux look good for people that haven't. Again, I put a little bit of research into my video yesterday on that. I aped in and bought an NFT last night. That got me a drop of their access card. So, there's just follow the people that, generally speaking, listen to people. If you'll find out if they're in it for the good or they're in it just to pump their own bags. Be careful at the moment. We've got a lot of people shilling projects and then dumping bags of NFTs. That's going to happen. Like look at your BitBoys and stuff like that. It's going to happen in NFTs. It's going to happen in Solana. There's going to be more and more rugs. Be careful. There's also going to be all these slow rugs as well. So be careful in the space. Listen to people. Question us in stage. Like we've got people asking not enough questions in some shows. I'm wanting to give away this Grape. Sixon's going to start running live quiz questions as well, and he did last week, and he got a bit of grief from people expecting to come back half an hour AFK in the show and get some Grape, and that's not how it's going to happen. We're going to reward the people that are here talking and listening. So, yeah, that's I guess a bit of a rant. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I mentioned Shade. Another big mint that's coming up, I'll go back to it, is Sovana. That's going to be a really big mint coming up. We got some Grape things the other day. So there was 28 mints, whitelist mints given out just from noticing your messages. So I know that there was a mistake with the whitelist. They didn't all go out, but we've got another 29. It might have been people whitelisted for that. So I'll be minting for Sovana. 2D Metaverse building out. They've got a shitload of partners. I'm hoping they're going to have some kind of Web 3.0 solution to doing live meetings and stuff. They've got a whole lot of partners up, and they're giving a utility to a lot of these NFT projects. So I'm hoping that'll be decent. But I like the guys. Actually like them. They're Aussies, and I think we should be doing more in Aussie space. Being a local Australian, I want to be doing live running events this year with Step In as well. So it doesn't hurt to have those contacts.
Yeah, man. Love your running in the mornings.
Yeah, I sound like a fat kid on a cupcake sometimes. It's funny, you'll hear me puffing and panting, but I'm not fit enough. I've tried running in the afternoons now as well, so I do a 20-minute session, and that's 5 minutes running, 5 minutes walking, 5 minutes running, 5 minutes walking. So mixing up, putting the extra sneakers, growing the brands. Yes, as Savage is saying there, Step In, they've got some massive updates tonight, so the AMA will be afterwards off this. But let's get our guests on stage, because we do want to talk about Star Atlas every week. Sometimes we mix it up depending on the guests we've got. Last week we had Moon Man, probably a bit rough on Moon Man, probably a bit rough overall. I learnt a whole lot for that. I got too pissed and also didn't control the stage well, so it was pretty unprofessional on my behalf. I got no problem saying that afterwards. I've said it. He handled himself super well in the space. I was impressed
You did.
thinking about it afterwards. Like I definitely got too pissed. The missus poured the drinks a bit stronger than I was used to. So I'm lucky. My partner's an awesome girl. She brings my drinks in to me while we're doing these streams. But I did get a little bit pickled. But we've got 3 guests to come on stage and talk tonight.
Oh, let's get you guys up.
I'll get some links out shortly. So there was 3 gentlemen. Cav has said, who are they? Nazgul.
Let me see here.
I've invited Nazgul as well.
Galileo, 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 Galileo. No?
No Queen fans.
Oh, stuff you guys.
I'm a Queen fan, but I don't understand. Oh, I see. All right, okay. I was a bit slow on that one. Sorry. That was a fucking good movie, though. Their video was
Yeah.
very good. I love the
Dude, I
I
watched
love
that
the making
movie.
of that Bohemian. That was such a cool part of the movie.
I went out of the cinemas and like I didn't do anything. I just went to sit on the side curb and think about my life and what the fuck am I doing? And I was like, that was such an inspirational movie. I need to go to something and I need to do it.
But what was cool as well was you actually get to the end of the movie and you go, they could have made that a 2-parter. Like it just could have been longer.
Yeah, could have. I thought it was a good length. I felt they covered, like it was an epic ending for me. I was like, yes.
I'm gonna assume you're talking about Rocket Man.
Isn't Rocket Man the other one? By the
Oh,
gay guy?
Elton John. Yeah, that's my bad. I don't even remember what the one with. What's that?
Rami Malek?
Yeah, that guy. I
Yeah,
don't remember what that
the
was
guy
called.
from he's a good actor. I love him.
So we'll go through the basics. Kevin, you can hear you're tired, dude. I super appreciate you coming in at such a horrible time of the day. We say this just about every week with our American guests. Yeah, super early, super impressed. You said yes for starters. I did kind of push you for it. Let's lock it in. Let's lock it in. Come in. And I appreciate you coming in. Also, Sal and Naz, are you guys American based as well? So a horrible time zone for you guys?
Hey, I actually just connected I was connecting a external speaker. What did you just say?
I was just checking to see whether you guys are also in such horrible time zones, but I guess we'll just get straight into it. Kevin, do you want to introduce yourself to stage? So, being I'm not too sure on the Solien team where you are in the structure of it all, but do you want to just introduce yourself quickly and your team of coming on stage here? It's awesome to see 3 guys coming on. I'm very impressed with what I've seen so far from you guys and want to learn heaps. So, as for half an hour sitting, let's get straight into it, dude.
Yeah, sure. So actually, Sal he's one of the founders of the project. I was just an involved community member early on, and at this point, um, as a DAO right now, there's sort of a team of us trying to help facilitate proposals and stuff like that. Um, we're still trying to kind of figure out the best way to do everything, try and actually be a DAO. So yeah, we do have whatever this core team trying to help facilitate. So I'm one of those people. And then Sal again, is the founder, and Nazgul's actually just a member who's also heavily interested in Star Atlas. So I figured since we were talking about that, bring him along.
Yeah, so let's get some basics in. Soliens was first and foremost a NFT project. How many did you guys mint? What was the mint price? When did it mint? Give us some of the quick rundowns on that.
Yeah, I could go over that. So we had a project we minted in, I want to say, mid to late September, and basically back then, I think Sol was actually probably a similar price to what it is now, but we minted at 3 Sol, and we were supposed to mint 10,000. We ultimately only sold around 4,000, and then we closed down the mint and put over half the mint funds into the DAO, and just started making proposals and getting to work activating the funds and getting the people to really use the funds. And as obviously we're here because it's our Atlas to a large degree, and half of our fund has basically been dedicated only to that. So yeah, we definitely have a lot of experience just like reading into that and seeing what we want to invest in the space. Excited to talk about that.
All right, so that's very cool. Minted, sold about half, 3 Solana, price was the same. So it's awesome to actually see you guys kick that money into the DAO and then start to produce something towards gaming 3.0, really getting a big team involved. But then what happened to the remaining half of the Soliens?
What happened? Oh, so the other half is basically, I guess, more general purpose. So everything from the stables that you guys are talking about for photo finish to.
Oh, sorry, no, not the funds that you've actually sold off the mint. So the first mint was 10,000. You said you sold about half, or did the whole mint sell out, or did you burn the second half?
We just burned the rest. Yeah, we just burned the remaining NFTs, lower the supply, and just worked with what we got. Honestly, just closed off the candy machine, and yeah, we haven't had a second mint or anything like that.
Oh, I like it. I'm just trying. Oh, there we go. 4,019. Yeah, cool. So that's impressive. So what is actually more impressive? I did link it as well. There is that all of the DAO balance sheets. That this is an old one though. Is you guys make all of this public knowledge. So you put it out. You show people what you're doing, where you've got your assets. You know, the fact that in November you had a 600,000 worth of Star Atlas at that stage.
Yeah, transparency is definitely a big cornerstone of our DAO, and sometimes to our fault sometimes, but we definitely try to keep the DAO wallets public, and every time we make decisions on behalf of the DAO, we really want everybody to have a say in those decisions. I guess something that kind of like exemplifies that pretty well is we have a process, a procedure that we basically are going through 99% of any given time, which we call RFC, request for comment. And one of our board members came up with this, but it basically is the procedure of creating a separate chat to discuss each proposal before it goes up, and then people just are debating all the time about what to debate and what to invest in, and it makes for pretty fruitful conversations, I think. But that's mostly what we're doing in our Discord.
So just having a look at the sales as well for Soliens, it's quite stagnant, you would think, on Magic Eden. Is it on other platforms as well, other marketplace? I'm guessing Solana as well. Did that go through? Sorry.
Yeah, I heard it. I thought I might have dropped out then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just heard that you said the sales are stagnant, and then yeah, they are.
So no, oh, that's all right. Like, because it is going to lead into part of my next question. So it's you guys had the initiative with the stylish studs. So there's a lot to talk about on two fronts, because obviously you guys have got a really big stable with photo finish and third time, but you guys did a proposal there where you actually bought the number 2 stud, Astro stud, and put that out there to mint for, sorry, not to mint. Well, you were selling coins and tokens to be able to mint up to 30 and stud off versus him at 20 Solana. So you also did other deals there, which you could buy a Solien, which gave Stardust and gave a discount. So it was a good way of trying to kick it and get extra people to join the community based on that event. So how did you find that? Did that work? Did that give you guys a bump in membership in your Discord and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean it really did. I mean, as soon as so yeah, we offered that external 30 of those external tickets, which I think the mint for those is still ongoing. If anyone wants to go check that out, I suppose. But for before we actually like finalized that was the price, we worked on an internal proposal where we discussed discounts based on the amount of Stardust each member was holding, and then ended up taking a snapshot of members, kind of finalize the list internally. You know, a lot of people that were coming in wanted to make sure like that their investment into the project was going to guarantee them a spot on the internal list, because we had a hard cap. You know, Ian had talked about not necessarily breeding too much with one stud, you know, and we didn't really want to dilute the bloodline of the Astro stud, you know, and all this sort of stuff to do with these Gen Zero horses. But anyway, so people coming in wanted to make sure that they were going to be guaranteed a spot. You know, didn't want to buy 15 Stardust or something, you know, of Soliens and then not be able to get 2 covers or something with the Astro stud. So people were kind of pushing for us to snapshot so that they were guaranteed to know basically how many people were interested and that they were going to be able to get a cover, and that we weren't just going to continue to have more and more people kind of come in and take up these spots.
Yeah, and it's awesome because this is actually what led me to find Solana. So obviously I know about Solana, but being primarily an NFT project, I wasn't really super big into NFTs last year myself. It had to have been a gaming utility NFT to get me interested. So I'd kind of skipped over Soliens, and one of our members is a member at Soliens. He's got 48 Stardust, I think it is. So he's quite a high member. And that's Vincent from Shilzine. So it's actually going to be his entry into our stable syndicate, and we vote on that tomorrow night. But we're going to be utilising his studs. So I wanted to make sure I paved the way with the team first at Soliens and didn't just do the dodgy on the side. You know, it's if we're going to be entering a horse racing syndicate into a metaverse out there, you don't want to be having bad faith between teams. So I just wanted to make sure that the team from Soliens would be okay with it first before we okayed it in our own internal structures. And Vincent's in crowd. Awesome. Welcome, Vincent. So I wanted to make sure that was all good. So we've got a strategy we worked on there at utilising those breeds, and of course you've got the number 13. Is that 4013? Is that the one?
I think it's 4061. Maybe it's 4016.
4061. No, you got it first. Yeah, so it's, you know, we've got one to breed with that as well. So, I mean, I think you guys were charging 5 Solana. So we've got to work out how we're going to do that, and we vote on that tomorrow night internally as well, because now Grape owns, you know, number 57 as part of the syndicate. So it gives our guys something to be able to breed versus as well. But I don't know that, you know, if you're charging 5 Solana for number 13, then, you know, what do we charge for number 57? I can't imagine it going for a huge amount. But have you found much interest in the studying then from outside people paying? I know the mint for the Astro didn't go super well for people paying 20 because then it was cheaper for them to go and buy a Solien. But have you found much interest on the studying versus number 13?
I think last I checked, maybe there were like 5, maybe 6 tickets that had sold, but you know, it's kind of just gravy, at this point.
Yeah, you guys
It's,
would have got those horses at a pretty good price, yeah, because you got in very early on the studs and fillies.
well, we got in pretty early on these top rank studs. Definitely maybe fumbled it a little bit recently, trying to sort of pick up rarer fillies, especially, like the past week or so. The floor's really taken off on these
Oh,
things.
hasn't it just? You were saying to me that we sniped a few you guys were looking at.
Yeah. We've also, interestingly enough, a number of our members have pretty sizable stables. And so, it's on occasion I've been talking on the side, and been like, oh, maybe we should get this one. And then one of our members will actually go and buy it like right before we were planning on it or something like that. It's oh man, like
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
darn.
we were a bit worried about being front run with that exact problem, so we didn't put out there. We dealt with it at the time when we were buying things. Being front run's such a horrible position, but it's going to happen as well. Like come game time, isn't it? If Grape says, righto, we're going to be racing at 2 a.m. UTC on this day, then it's a very real possibility that Soliens might go, righto, we'll go and take Grape's money and put in a bigger horse. I think that'll happen.
Yeah, quite possibly. That's what it's like what Sal was saying earlier with the transparency kind of screwed us on occasion. But in this instance, there was no time where we were like, oh, we're gonna go buy this, and then somebody else, from our membership went and bought it. It was like we were talking about, like Sal and I in DMs or something. We're talking about a horse, and then before we pull the trigger, it turns out someone, like recently one of our members just took like 250 soul and just started sweeping, apparently.
Oh,
It was
shit.
like yeah, it's like, who the hell is this person with 40 Soliens like buying everything, man? But
So
oh,
is
I
there?
wanted
Not
to say,
cool. Like from an outside perspective, I'm not going to be racing in the suites or the studs, but just from an outside perspective, I like that kind of diminishes the enjoyment experience that I might have if I decide to go in, finding all like, and it happens. I know that's capitalism. All these people have heaps of money. They're crypto rich. They go in and sweep the entire floor for themselves. It kind of takes away the joy out of it for me, to be honest.
um yeah, I know what you mean, but they are going to have different tiers of races. Each horse can only race a certain number of times a day, and they're going to be different buy-ins, different levels of races. Real quick though, you'll notice in the audience, Mac has got their hand up. They're another board member.
I just wasn't
They might-
verified. That's all. So I thought it might have just been a random. I've
oh yeah, no,
invited him on
they're-
stage. We've got a couple of crowd questions to get through, which would be cool. Quick one: if it's all public on chain, what did you guys pay for your big boy? So old Astro number 2. How much did you guys get that for? What was the steal?
that was 200 soul.
Good price.
And when did you actually get a hold of that? Like how long ago was that?
It's been a while. It might have been like end of November even.
So that was a
I'd have
big that was a big call back then in November. Then so Solana would have been above 200, wouldn't it?
When we were buying that guy, probably it sounds about right.
Yeah.
I will say, some people in our
They would have been
Discord.
questioning you. They would have been absolutely saying you guys are doing the wrong thing and naysaying.
yeah, they weren't super happy. Some people.
And are those people now kissing your shoes?
I haven't heard anything from them specifically.
Crickets.
Yeah, I think I told you so.
No, it's good. It is super cool, man. Like that's impressive to see. It took us a while to kick it over here. I wish we had have kicked it in the guts a couple of weeks before, but it takes time. You guys can probably talk to us a little bit about tooling and stuff as well. Like everything takes time to build out and do, and people have got to have time to run these projects. But I did have a couple of questions. Someone has said, have you got any other games? And Riptide did answer it. You've got also some shadowy supercoders and quantum traders. But have you got any other games or projects that you're you're actually into at the moment?
I think our main two right now are Star Atlas and Photo Finish. And it's kind of more difficult. Or go ahead.
Oh, no, that's right. You're just saying those two. So I don't know if you read today's announcement from Botborgs. They've put 555 Solana into a wallet for the DAO to control and buy out whitelists of certain projects that they're going to get access to. So you're not doing anything sort of similar to that. My judgment on that is going to be pretty harsh on Monday. I'll put that out on my video Monday. I don't agree with what they're doing. But have you guys thought of doing like similar, getting like projects, whitelists, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of become one of the more popular things in this space. You know, I'm in quite a few different discords. It seems like every project is like trying to get these whitelist spots for upcoming mints. And I guess, you know, that's all well and good if you specify like we're not really partnering with them or whatever, and it's not financial advice. It's kind of difficult, you know,
I guess for
when
I
yeah, when
get,
a project hasn't minted, you don't really know anything about the team necessarily. Kind of a lot of research would have to go in for me to feel comfortable saying like, you know, before something's minted and kind of proven itself, like, yeah, we're partnering with these guys. I mean, something like Sovana, you were talking about them earlier. That seems um, like a pretty solid group, pretty solid project. But um, you never really know. I don't know.
I think they'll do okay. I don't think they're going to be like this big blue chip that everyone hopes that they might be. I think they'll do okay. I think they'll be a positive in the space. They work a little bit on mental health and stuff as well and being positive in the space. But yeah, as to that, they've got to work hard. Everyone has to work hard in the space. It sounds good though, like you're actually planning out the money of your DAO. The thing I didn't like about Botborgs, just quickly to finish on that, was I don't like how they're just planning on buying into the whitelist and it's not getting bums in seats. I'm always very big for getting, that's, you know, a big term I use is you want to whitelist communities that are actually trying to get them into players' positions, not just be that financial flip. And that's what they just outrightly said in the project is they'll vote on whether they hold 50%, flip the other 50%. But then other big DAOs are doing the same, aren't they? So there was another one here, something about a Solana NFT from Zekashi. They've read on your website about an NFT project hackathon. Have you guys got something in a hackathon? Have you? I'm not sure that I've seen anything about that.
So Sal might know a little bit more about that. This was back when we were originally minting.
So we worked with Magic Eden when they started off their launchpad, and they basically told us that, you know, we have seats on their launchpad if we ever had a project that we wanted to put through. I'm sure that olive branch is still available if we ever had a project. But the idea was to do a hackathon, but logistically, you know, things just weren't in place to make it happen when it was supposed to happen, I think.
All right, that's all right. That's cool. And there was another question here. Do Soliens have a suites? Flabby, yes, they do. They've got one of the 68 suites. Are you guys looking forward to building that out?
Oh yeah. Maybe Mac can speak a little bit towards that. And I know she's up here now.
Hi everyone. Good morning. How are we doing?
Good, Mac. Welcome to stage. Thanks for coming on. Are you the genius behind designing out the Soliens projects spaces? So have you got like a portals as well that you're playing with?
I wouldn't say genius by any means, but I just want to say thank you so much for pulling me up. I actually just got off a meeting with someone in Sydney, so I'm actually used to kind of waking up a little bit early for some of the clients I'm working with right now. But for those of you don't know me, I'm Mac. I'm part of the Solien board, but I'm also on the board with the Stylish Studs and Sweets. Been working with Ian ever since I heard about what he's building and his reputation with Madden and the background in gaming that he does have. So we're really excited. You know, we're getting the suites going. We're trying to get everything ready for Super Bowl because it's such a big holiday. I'm gonna say holiday for the US. And we're just really excited about also like getting the breeding going, the Sally studs and the fine fillies and the Soliens really. I love what you guys were talking about communities earlier. I feel like we have such a good community, and I feel like with the initiative with the studs and fillies and sweets lately, it really just got everybody really excited about what Ian's building, what he's doing, and how Solana is going to move this whole space forward.
Yeah, I mean, their launch for the suites was absolutely off chops, but that means you've got some alpha for us. And if you're on the board for photo finish and suites, you've got to have some kind of alpha for us. We've got some big news coming up, tokenomics, rules on breeding, how that's going to work. What have you got for us?
Are you trying to get me fired this morning, Barn Dog?
No, I just want you to pump up the crowd for it. We're putting money in. We've got over 20 people that have shilled out 20 Solana each, so we've got over 400. There's got to be something. I know they've talked heavily about potentially getting in team and sports celebrities from the US. Maybe talk about they had a big fella on their Discord last week.
I will say this, if you guys haven't looked into Ian's background, he worked for FanDuel and he definitely has members on his team that are docs that are correlated with DraftKings. So if you think about those two biggest sports betting companies right now in the US and his connections with them, let's just say he does not do anything halfway or half-ass, and which is one of the reasons why I've been involved with their team since day one. I'm super bullish on what he has to do. And if you guys think everything's hyped up right now, just wait until what we have coming up.
Yeah, we had him here at Grape. He's an amazing dude on stage. Absolutely amazing. Knows his shit and was good. I'd love to get him back at some stage.
Yeah, we were doing actually, you guys mentioned the Grims earlier. I was actually listening in and when I was doing my other call. The Grims that have been pushing like the gaming aspect on Solana, and they're one of the communities I absolutely love too as well. We're actually doing an space with them next week for the project that I'm actually launching. They have a huge community, they're great, they're all about gaming and whatnot. So when it comes to pushing all of this forward and getting the gaming aspect going, I'm actually really happy you guys are hosting this AMA and was wondering if you guys are doing another one soon too.
Oh, this is more of like I guess you call us more of like a talk show at the moment. Next week we're going to be doing streaming at the same time. I need to pull my finger out for that, but we definitely love the AMAs. I love getting projects on often, and I guess if the time worked well for Ian, I'll get him back absolutely. But last time was an AMA, actually an hour with him, whereas we have a different guest every week. Here on Saturday nights. This is Saturday night Australian time for myself, Metaverse, and Six, and Metaverse is in Sydney, so it's a bit harder for him time-wise.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
okay.
super hard for the Americans though coming on stage, and you can hear it with Kevin, and you know, like sometimes you have to get that 2 hours sleep, but crypto waits for no one.
No, it does not, especially at the speed that Solana's moving. A lot of exciting things coming forward. So we're just happy to be here. Soliens is definitely one of the very first projects that we definitely consider OG, minted about the same times that Monkey DAO actually did with the SMBs. So I think with all the gaming aspect that's finally like launching and moving forward, just really excited about everything that's going to be happening in the next couple months.
Yeah, so that's not really a lot of alpha for us. Give us a little bit of alpha about your breeding. Then are you going to be talking about your breeding strategies for other communities and DAOs to be able to have a look at? Obviously, you guys have got your wallets public, but I didn't see any big girl fillies in there. So what's the is that going to be open knowledge?
I will say this, there's been discussions, I know the guys mentioned the RFC earlier about how we should strategize on moving forward because since everybody's kind of breeding with the astral stud, I know Ian mentioned on another AMA that yes, you can breed as many times as you want with the stud, and as we're launching Gen Zero, which is going to be the Adam and the Eves when it comes to the horse racing game, it does and will probably affect Gen 1, 2, 3, 4. So are you a big picture person where you're just like, all right, I'm going to build out the stable for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, or are you just looking to breed right now for the best Gen Zeros, whether you're trying to sell it or you're just participating in the first round of races? So this is the part where there have been a lot of discussion going into how do we want to strategize this? Do we want to make a quick flip with some of the Gen Zeros, or do we want to build this out in the long term? So that in terms will affect what kind of fillies do you want? Do you want to go for quantity and quality? And if you do that, a Solana floor is actually a really good tool to use to see what kind of fillies are available out there when it comes to rank versus
But it's
the price
broken.
point right now too.
It's broken at the moment.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's just like so much going on. Solana is slow. I've been getting rugged on Twitter Space. You guys pulled me up earlier, and Discord just completely crashed on me. I don't know what's going on this week.
Yeah, I think third time they've been adjusting the metadata of their fillies. I think is that what's caused because they're getting it ready for the breeding.
Yeah, we're definitely, like you were mentioning earlier, we got tokenomics coming up, breeding coming up, a lot of big partnerships and marketing coming up too as well. So, like I said, a lot of exciting things to come. As much as I want to just be like, hey, this is what's happening, I would like to keep my board member position, please. But we are definitely getting as much information within the Solien DAO as fast as we can. Like anything I learn, I usually share it with the Solien DAO right away. So then we can start strategizing on how to move this forward too as well.
No, that's awesome. I mean, we are almost half an hour into it already, and we've only talked about photo finish so far. We need to get into Star Atlas as well. This is the thing. Half an hour is never enough. We can always talk so much longer. Thanks for coming on stage, Mac. That's awesome. It seems you're a part of a few big communities. I know Soliens has been kind of slept on a little bit, I think, and I was so happy that me pushing through and asking the questions has led to this to come about. It's nice meeting new communities, especially ones that are doing so awesome with Solana Gaming. You know. That's you guys make me look silly at this stage. It's good. Let's talk about Star Atlas.
Yeah, let's talk about Star Atlas. Let's go.
So you guys also you bought something like 600,000 US worth of ships last year. I saw you've got a big Guardian, Dirty Great Big List there on stage. So you guys are obviously super bullish on Star Atlas. Do you want to touch on that a little bit? I'm not sure who's best for that.
I feel like all of us have a lot to say, especially maybe like Cavern, me, and Nazgul. I guess I could just give a little bit of context with, yeah, we have a lot of ships and really happy with them. We got a bunch of, we got 2 of the capital ships, you know, a little bit of everything. And I guess now we're just trying to really nail down logistically, you know, what's the most efficient way to actually, you know, manage our community around these ships, given the constraints that we currently have, right? Because we can only really stake them. But you know, planning and speculating for how we can manage the DAO and have ranks and all that. Maybe Cavern as cool. You guys can speak a little bit more about that. But Starless is definitely like one of the biggest things that we're trying to focus on this year, I think.
So you've got a lot of assets. I notice you guys obviously bought a lot of Polars as well. But what happens? Are these ships have to be all staked? Surely someone is controlling the staking for those.
Yeah, we have the ship all getting staked and getting rewards, and we passed the proposal basically saying, okay, so 60% of the rewards we'll put into back into ships, and then 40% into bolus, and then we're just kind of chugging along, harvesting every week or so, and just following the metrics until something changes.
So I like that. There's a bit of alpha as to how they're handling their Atlas rewards. So back into ships, buying up the floors, and into more Polars, which is amazing what both the coins are doing. But then, how do you guys manage? How do you manage the DAO tooling for the staking? Because it's quite it needs to be done every 24 hours for the lower level ships. How's that managed by the DAO?
Manual labor and
yes, manual labor.
or that clicking.
Remembering to go on the website and clicking is one thing, but yeah, it's basically right now it's just manual.
But you probably only have larger ships, right? So you don't have to do it that often as well. And I just want to check that, like, since Solana doesn't have any multi wallet or kind of DAO function, someone has this private key for themselves.
Right now, until we migrate over to like a Goki wallet and tooling, we could definitely talk a little bit more about tooling. Lots to say there, but as of right now, yeah, we have all the ships in one wallet managed by a human. Although, as a DAO, we really, at the end of the day, want our money to be in a piece of code managed by the governance protocol, but step by step.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
I'd love to touch on the tooling a little bit more, because obviously that's something that Grape has to have a look at as well. And we need to control that. I actually put in the first 225 Solana to get our stable started. So then that way I bought the assets, sent them to Grape, and then the people just paid me. But so I've managed that. I've kicked it in the guts to start off with, but that was for a lot of help with other people. But yeah, going forward, then who are you talking to? Is it Cardinal Realms, IQ Protocol? Have you had any thoughts to any of those, or have you got something you guys are building out yourself?
Oh, yeah. We at least me, I've been working with a couple of the people who are building out Tribeca DAO, and basically helping them a little bit with documentation, things like that, because they have a really solid protocol in place for governance. It just isn't necessarily open to the public yet, right? So the only DAOs using the protocol are DAOs that are made by people who made the protocol, which are just like, people around the like Saber, all these like smaller, and then like some smaller DeFi protocols that basically like their devs made this and their devs are using it. But they are kind of like finalizing a bit of the onboarding and then documentation, but they're going to help our DAO onboard into their platform. But the big thing that we're kind of, have to do before that. So even if we could onboard tomorrow, which theoretically we could, we still have like one very, very crucial step to finalize that. Grape already has, right? You guys have the Grape token, you guys have the IDO and all that. We're basically trying to. We have the Stardust, and we're going to create an SPL token that we use in this governance system. But the idea is to use a platform like Gemworks so that people can stake their Solien, and depending on if they have 0 Stardust, it'll emit a base rate, this token. If they have more, it'll emit a higher rate proportional to how much Stardust they have. And then that's the token that they go into Tribeca DAO protocol, lock up. And then the longer you lock up the token, the more voting power you get. But then from there, the DAO protocol is built in like 3 parts, right? So you have 3 smart programs. I don't want to get like too technical, but one of them is a wallet, and it's separate from the actual like thing that handles governance, which is separate from the thing that handles your money. But that protocol it really looks exciting, and the voter escrow model specifically, I think, is something that's going to be very beneficial for a DAO like ours that really relies on long-term investments and decisions that are made by people who have skin in the game for a longer period of time, right? I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the voting escrow model. Maybe touch on that, but it really is huge.
Metaverse, you know a lot more about Tribeca. Did you have any questions there?
Not specifically. I mean, I understand like the voting weight and the curve wars coming to Solana, all of this, and I understand Ship Capital also behind a lot of the products that you're talking about now. But yeah, I don't have any general questions. I'm happy to get back to Star Atlas though. I see the Ogrica Thripid you guys have. What and I understand your kind of portfolio structure for Star Atlas. Maybe we can talk about the recent developments and what you guys are thinking in your DAO at the moment.
Yeah, maybe Cameron could talk a little bit about the, I guess, the structure that they've been coming up with for. I wish we had Ray just here. Maybe Nazgul could talk about it too. I know that you've been helping build out the actual officer structure, but maybe that'd be something interesting to talk about to see, how that could relate to what Grape's doing, and bits and pieces from how we organize ourselves is useful, even though it's like still happening,
Yeah, so will this be a sub-DAO, like in Soliens that's managing Star Atlas in general? Are you guys going to be buying the 51 ships that are going to be coming out this year?
Yeah, so hi guys, this is Nazgul. Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Hey, so yeah, regarding to the fleet strategy that we are putting in place, we will not be buying all 51 types of ships. Like Meta pointed out, we only have larger ships. We have 2 commanders and I think 5 capital ships at this point and several larger ships. So our target is actually having the DAO responsible for having the biggest ships that we can get and serve our strategy purpose, and then having individual members complementing that with several small ships and extra small ships, and even some members have mediums. So that's our main strategy. We are now studying.
Sorry, Nazgul. You guys are actually possibly thinking of being your own DAC in Star Atlas. Is that right? Yeah,
definitely. That's we are not one at this point because the functionality is not available yet.
So at only 600,000 worth of ships, that sounds quite low as a DAC when you've got other ones like a FIA, Interstellar Alliance, Rome. So do you not think that you'd be pushed out as one of the smaller DACs?
Well, at the end of, like Cavern was probably going to say, we work as a team. So a lot of those DACs have a huge amount of capital, and they put into several commanderships. But at the end of the day, you need your guild members to be with you, and we have been building a very good community for the past couple of months, and everyone is putting their best foot forward. So it's not just having the best fleet, you also need to use it properly and have your assets in the right place. So I think that's what we're going for.
To add on to that, with these other DACs, right, that have a little bit more, I guess infamy within the Star Atlas community, you could say, they have a much different kind of model of, capital to resources, like human resources, to people who actually own that capital. So, and then I guess they have a small subsection of individuals who have provided the vast majority of the capital, but they also have the vast majority of the ownership over the ships at the end of the day. In our DAO, the ownership of the ships is purely determined by how much Stardust you have and how much Stardust is in the system, right? Because that's the ownership of the DAO. So I guess that's something that's different, that hopefully kind of like translates over to the way that, people actually feel the ownership to the ships and plays with it in the game, as opposed to these other guilds that, you don't necessarily have to have the same level of stake in the guild to interact with the assets. But it's going to be interesting to see like how they model their way of handling things in games and situations versus DACs like ours, and what can be different from the model that we have versus what they have, right? But it's definitely interesting to see, because with these, it's like these people who had early adoption in Star Atlas, who got all of the posters and things like that. The amount of ships that you can buy relative to the money you put into the posters is insane. So I could totally see why somebody in that position would want to start their own guild instead, because you as an individual are just simply not going to be able to use all these ships,
Oh, there is a good question from Riptide here. Are you going to be able to have DAO members exchange their ships for Stardust Soliens?
That's a good idea, I think, with especially with what Nazgul was saying about how in our model, we have a lot of the commander ships like the C11 that can hold, like dozens of smaller ships, but we don't have the dozens of smaller ships to hold. Maybe there's a sort of like loaning model that could work with Stardust and the ships, but I definitely see, a lot more to happen within actual uses, because we probably would be well off having those ships, but I don't know if we necessarily have the Stardust to give them. But it's an interesting thing to potentially model, honestly.
Metaverse, do you want to keep going?
Yeah, sure. Are you guys going to be planning to get any Titans or motherships if you guys are going for the big ship route?
Unfortunately, we don't have no, like the Titans are probably going to go for like multiple millions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if we could get all of the guilds together and split ownership of one, that'd be crazy.
Oh,
But I also can
fractionalized
easily
ships,
see
eh?
I
Yep.
can also just easily see a whale like not caring and putting 5 million down for it just because there's only like 2 of them.
Yeah, that's right.
I
You
just want
never
to
know in
say
this
we've
space.
been talking about this concept of sharing a big Titan since day one, before Bridge Split, before any talks of fractionalization even came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's like one of the difficulties because you can take your NFT or Star Atlas, what is it? Not an NFT, fungible token, which they are now. You can take it, try and fractionalize it somewhere else, but that's probably outside of their Star Atlas tooling, and we don't know if Star Atlas is going to provide that tools for us to do that. So some of my other questions is some of the what are you guys excited about the recent updates that they gave us in the town hall this morning for me? I think some of the more prominent ones were the DAO staking. That's going to be still on track for about February.
Yeah, DAO staking should be huge for us, honestly. It gives us a purpose to have the polis.
Yeah, actually gives you like a small stream of income that you can be using as well. What about some of the other updates? What are you guys happy about?
I personally, when they released the different factions and like
The map, yeah.
yeah, and saying like the Tufa, we're gonna be the Tufa and the like Fatoli, we're only in the high risk zones or whatever. It was actually interesting to see. Like right after that, it seemed like the rainbow ships and the Feist kind of spiked a little bit. People were like, "Oh man, he's gonna be harder to get." Like better buy him up now, which smart. But
yeah, that's true. People kind of speculate like front running it a little bit, but we don't actually know how much more difficult it's going to be. Like we don't know the stats or the cream mining behind it.
Yeah. I loved seeing the mini characters though in the I guess the Unreal Engine. Was that the Fatoli? No, that wasn't the Fatoli. It was one of the races, but they. Oh yeah, the Puna from the Agriccas, dude. They have these crazy ships, but they're just like little tiny dudes. I think that everything I've seen from Unreal Engine so far looks absurd. I'm interested to see how it's gonna run.
Yeah, it looks clean so far, doesn't it? I really so far we've only been able to see the showroom. They've showed us one landing pad, and they say all the NFTs you have now can now land in the landing pad. So what I want to actually see is some up to date information. They did say the height thing was a couple of months old, so we haven't seen any new footage recently. I want to see some new stuff.
Oh, we do too.
Yeah, I guess you guys got a lot of money and a lot of conviction riding on this.
I mean, if as soon as I can walk around a friggin' tree arrow, man, like that's gonna be insane.
Oh yeah, I just want to walk around like tree arrow, man. That thing is literally Central Park on a ship. It's crazy.
So there's generally a lot of excitement about Star Atlas. Now, I want to just pose like a hypothetical question to you guys. Well, what like on the off chance the Star Atlas does not make it? We all have this vision of what it could be. What happens to you guys or your investment, your conviction then when Star Atlas comes out and there's no traction, it just starts going downhill? Do you guys have an exit plan for this as a DAO?
Short answer, no.
Fair enough.
long
I think
answer.
I think since the very beginning when we first launched Soliens, our very first proposal was actually to figure out how much of the funds do we allocate to Star Atlas and how much percentage of the funds that we were going to allocate to the rest of the items. And at the time, we had no idea what other projects were launching. This was like very early on in August, September. We had no idea what other projects were launching. We had no idea what the gaming aspect was going to look like on Solana. So we set that, and which kind of take us back to what we said earlier, the sweeps and the studs and the fillies. So if you look in our wallet, which is definitely open for anyone to check out, we do have a couple of backup wallets. I feel like it's in place.
Sorry, a couple of what? There's a bit of background noise there.
I think
Could you
just
just repeat
backups
that?
in place for if Starlist doesn't go well, we're not fully dedicated to Starlist, although it will be a huge hit to our DAO treasury. We have the studs, we have Neo Nexus, which it hasn't really been super exciting in the last couple of weeks, but they're gonna pop off soon. We all have faith, and we have like other investments outside of Starlist, but as you said, high conviction, hopefully high rewards, but high risk, right?
Yeah, it's crypto.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
it's
This is
crypto. It's
crypto.
gaming.
Yeah.
It's double risk at this stage. And I guess that was a good question. I like that Metaverse. What are your options if it gets out early? I guess being ahead of the curve is part of it as well. When to potentially take an exit. So I know I've got friends that are thinking of getting out of it. I've considered it myself because I'm not happy with the last 2 months. The game's going to be years away from being played, but at least I guess have you considered taking profit out of earnings and putting that into other avenues at the moment? You did say you were using it into Polus and buying up floor.
That's a good point, because if we really do look at what's coming out of the ships just purely as revenue for the DAO, maybe there's a different model there for driving things like incentives. I know like Grape does an amazing job with creating incentive structures with your token, and kind of like the social structures that you have for people to contribute. Like it really, like probably the best in the ecosystem right now for like the way that you manage people to incentivize themselves. So I think you kind of have to like learn from that in order to adapt. And with something like revenue, it seems like that's a good use for it, but we can't actually make the change until we draft a proposal, go through the
Yeah.
RFC, see if anybody has concerns, and then vote on it, right?
Yeah, it's a long process getting anything through a DAO. That's why it's even we didn't buy a Philly this week based on not getting voted through, and the next day it's gone, and you've got to make those decisions. So there's got to be a leading hand in that. So we do want to kind of wrap this up because we're going to be running overtime again. Give us a closing thoughts towards, well, why should we be joining into Soliens? So far, what I've heard is absolutely awesome tonight. I didn't know a lot about you guys before last week. So going forward, 2 big games already, but is there a chance for people to get in now and join the community, be a part of Soliens, or what's the next 3 months going to be about?
Yeah, I think if you join our DAO, expect to learn a lot about how a DAO works, and really get your feet wet with governance, and especially as we start to migrate over to some more sophisticated like on-chain tools. I think that's going to be just a really good experience for everyone to get their feet wet with DAOs who haven't, because I know that's a lot of people in the space. And then also just people who want to have some indirect exposure to Star Atlas, to Photo Finish, and want to find a community of people who also have a lot of passion for these projects and like talking about it, in our Discord.
Yeah, I just want to say we do have one of the best communities out there just because we launched so long ago. I know 6 months sounds like only 6 months, but in this space, it feels like 5 years. And we are constantly looking at different projects and different ways that we can invest in this ecosystem because we're here for the long run. While we're waiting for Star Atlas, we do have probably about 3 to 4 different RFCs going on, constantly trying to see what other exciting ideas are out there. Let's discuss about all the new projects coming out. So I do invite everybody that's listening right now to come and join our community and figure out what we're doing within the Solien DAOs. And I know Monkey DAO always says they're the first real DAO in Solana, and this might sound really weird coming from someone that has a Monkey PFP, but I think the Soliens actually have the very first DAO on Solana.
Controversy. We love it.
Thank you, Alpha, for this morning. Quote me on MACD, Monkey PFP, but says Solien DAO was the first DAO.
So what's a good level for people to buy in if they were looking at buying in? Obviously, the Stardust, it's around 1.1 to 2 Solana. Where would people be looking at to buy in to actually get, I guess, skin in the game in the DAO?
Yeah, just get exposed to Stardust, especially, but no Stardust still will provide similar utility, I think, as we go into this SPL model. The PFPs are basically just conserved to generate the governance token, right? So that we can have the on-chain voting, it seems.
Right, there is one from Savage asking about other projects. Obviously, you guys are joining Rumble Worlds, becoming a part of that. You've got Neo Nexus as other big partners. Anything I've missed there? Other projects, your big partners?
I don't think
Nothing that comes up.
Yeah.
Like we have an investment in Shadowy Supercoders, but just kind of hold it, right?
I know we have been launching with Cubus Collective, which is
Is true.
portfolio management that's being launched where they're actually rewarding alpha within Discord from people who actually have solid information. I do know that there's also another social platform project that's going to be launching that's going to be partnering up with the Soliens too as well. We've been doing a little bit more RCs regarding investment and how we would like Solrise is one of the RCs that continues that we will always kind of be part of the discussion. So we do have a lot of things in the works. So if you have any ideas, Barn Dog, we'd love to hear about it.
Oh, I know quite a few games I think that are going to be pretty big in the next 6 months. Yeah, Cubus Collective. They're on the Ian did an AMA with them on Twitter the other day on the Spaces.
Hey, Sal, you think you could mute your mic when you're
Okay, do we have any questions from the audience? I do have to run for another call, but I just wanted to pop in and just kind of see if there's any questions we can answer for you guys. And of course, come by and say hi to everybody on Grape too.
Yeah, we've been asking the questions as we've gone along. Vincent has asked, are you still supporting the university with its telescope?
Yeah, so that's something I have to handle because there's kind of like some legal issues there where it's like, okay, so their max donation, Harvard, is 50,000, and what we were gonna donate was about 100,000. Now it's down at around 60,000. So maybe it's not as much of a legal issue, but when you go above $50,000 in a donation, there is a pretty hefty audit that comes with it to make sure that you're not like Jeffrey Epstein. And basically, we have to like create a legal entity in order to make the donation through that audit, or donate it through just a normal legal person under 50,000. But then me or somebody else would get doxxed. So we're trying to find out what the right middle ground is. But the money that we do have to send will be able to fund basically a whole telescope system that it costs around 60K, and they're gonna put them up in the summer. Right now, what they're doing is they've been spending the Galileo project. They're looking for signs of extraterrestrials. They've been creating kind of from the ground up telescope systems with a bunch of just like very well regarded academics, and now they're going to test out that telescope system on top of the Harvard Observatory, and then they're going to kind of collect data, make sure everything's good, and then they're going to kind of scale out and put these telescope systems all across the US, connect them using AI, and then create reports on the data, everything being completely public and transparent. Because kind of like one of the big issues with this whole like UFO space is that a lot of the research is done in private, aerospace companies that are being funded by the government. With that comes being classified, which is not good for the general public. And hopefully, in the spirit of crypto, we can help support that in the other direction.
I love it. Vincent, I've invited you to stage. We do want to wrap up as quickly as we can because we've got a little bit more to get through. Metaverse had to run off soon as well. Vincent, go for it.
Thank you. That's the reason why I joined the Soliens way back. When you gave out the POAPs, that's how long I've been with Soliens.
And that is OG right there. literally like months ago.
And it was because of that project with the university that just hooked me. Like, we're doing something beyond the digital space.
Yep, which
Yeah,
I
no,
think
they've
right
been doing
now,
great work.
And we wouldn't have known about it without you, Vincent. That's awesome. That is actually something real world changes, real world definition, and it's funny. It's a telescope to find aliens in outer space. I love it.
hey, whatever we have to do to kind of get everyone else on board and see what we're doing and just kind of bring a little bit more of a positive conversation when it comes to Web3 in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. We need to get Web3 out there more and more. And it's amazing to be in the space talking about it and actually able to try to influence people in a way which is positive towards the space. I love it. I love it. Let's any more closing thoughts, Metaverse, tonight for Soliens?
None from me. It's just been nice to to be honest, I didn't mint Soliens, I didn't mint MBS, but I see you guys actually have a good kind of community formed around you so far, OG people coming in. So it's been really nice to have a chat to you guys. And it just goes to show you don't know who's in these DAOs until you go and chat to them or until you find out about them. And it's interesting to know you guys are very heavy on Star Atlas as well, such as myself. I do Star Atlas videos. So it's just been nice to chat to you. I'm going to head out now. So thank you very much.
So nice to meet everybody.
Thanks for
Nice to
having
meet you
us.
all.
Yeah, thanks for coming on stage, guys. Amazing. Cavan, thanks for coming on. Sal, Nazgul, MacD, cheers for coming along. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. It makes me interested to learn more myself, and I'm glad we had the opportunity through Vincent in the end, offering the information I needed to actually kick it in the guts and have a look and see what the minting with the big Astro was all about. So I'm glad I touched base with the team rather than just allow Vincent just to go and mint them for us. So it was cool. I like it. Good luck with everything going forward, and I expect that we'll be talking a little bit more often.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
You too.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming along.
having us.
We've still got a good.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you, Naz. Cheers, then. We've still got a good 5-10 minutes to finish off, at least, and I know Sixon's got some Metagates information. Let's get your information, Sixon. Hopefully your internet's a bit better now. It's a bit later at night for you at work. How are you going with Metagates? What can we expect from them?
I pretty much wrote it all in chat earlier, but they have a pet mint coming up sometime in Feb, which is non-PvP. You can just battle it in arenas inside the townships. It's for people who don't like PvP. It's more for the Care Bears. The shitburns start next week, so if you want to get some skins, I suggest you go look now before the floor starts going up. Look at the albinos, the slimes, the aliens, the magmas. They all do the same shit. So
Just
have a look at
explain
'em, see which is cheapest.
explain that a little bit better for people. What are the shits like? They're not really going to
I'll post a
understand it at
picture.
all.
So the shits give you a skin. So you want pretty well the albinos will give you a safe land. The Solana body will give you a PvP land, and then alien magnets give you the vagabond skill. The vagabond skin at the start of the game will be very important because there's going to be lots of looting and rioting because the game won't be established and the laws haven't been done. So everyone's just ripping shit off from shops and stuff. So you want to have the vagabond skin so it helps you with your thievery. But there'll be a playable test server next week, and then full game launch is looking September.
Yeah, they're hoping in a couple of days they might even have it, so it might be a bit earlier. But they're kind of saying next week as just to give themselves time to get it out. But does that mean people are able to go there and play?
Yeah, just come along, register on Discord, and chuck you on.
So
I just posted this shit link.
And this is what I'm really happy about talking to the team. And I've kept in touch with the team since, obviously, every week, once or twice. I have a bit of a chat to the boys. And they are building, they're keen, they're excited. They're micro mint for the business, which is basically Pixel Poo. That helped them hire more people, get more people out. But they're not in a rush to get the game out. That's the important thing and what I like. And it's actually going to be gameplay that they're playing themselves. All day long, they've got people streaming in there. So that's Metagates, definitely. We're going to have them back next week. So we're going to be finding out. We're going to be streaming at the same time. So for those listening in this week, it's one I've been keen because you can just talk to the guys and they are gamers creating a game. So this is something cool. And we're hoping, is it Q3 or Q4? We're looking at the possible full launch.
September. whatever that quarter that is. That's 3.
Yeah, 3. The end of
Early 4.
so the end of 3. Yeah, so you would call that fall in America. Yeah, no, it's cool, and that is something that I've got on board. I minted some of their poos that night. We went and had a bit of a fun laugh at it. So it'll be cool to see, and I'm glad to get them back next week.
It's the game's completely free to play, so if you don't want to spend any money, you can come along and play it for free. It's just that if you get a couple of skins or you pay a premium subscription, because it will be subscription based, you'll just get a little bit extra in game. Like we're not sure what yet, they haven't worked out all the stuff, but in Albion Online, if you're a premium member, say if you cut a tree down, you'd get 2 logs. If you're a premium member, you'd get 2.5, 3.
And that's the thing, is that the skins, a lot of the games you're going to hear in play to earn, and that skins normally are going to be just skin enhancements. So they're going to be like a visual thing. They're not going to give you game bonuses. Whereas this one, it looks like the skin is going to be a skin and a in-game bonus through cooking or crafting kind of things.
Yeah, the skins will not affect PvP at all. They're all craftable skins, but the only buffs you can get in this game will be for food. So a cooking skin might be very handy in PvP. We just don't know yet.
I'm doing the cooking skin. Yeah, I mean, shit. I used to love cooking in World of Warcraft. I don't know why, man. It was just one of those things that I remember it was before Panda. So what was the Wrath of the Lich King? The cooking in that game was amazing. Like all the recipes and shit, you had to go and do quests and all that kind of stuff to get it. So I'll be looking at that. That is cool. I'm looking forward to jumping back on the server. I was in there this morning actually having a chat to the lads, and I'm looking forward to jumping in there to do some video on the actual gameplay. But I may hold that off until next week and see it live with everybody else. So definitely keen to get them back and see how it is a month later. And that's going to be a little bit of this year, is we're going to be getting projects back that we talk to. So at the moment, there's over 200 games building in Solana, and a lot of them are going to be rugs. A lot of them are going to be slow rugs. Like we had SoLife. Anybody that's followed my career in presenting for these, SoLife rugged at the end of last week, I think it was. So I put them on a couple of my alpha videos over some of their announcements and news in the last month. And the last video I spoke about SoLife was very interesting because it just looked. There was flags. I didn't say red flag, but there was definite flags where they were talking about how 2 of the Solana, there was 2 medium teen Solana, so it was like a 15 and an 18 Solana selling on, it might have been Digital Eyes, and then they partnered up with MSol, and I did use that as a floorboard to say, be careful, take care. Just because they're partnering with MSol to hand out prizes doesn't make them any more legitimate. And they rugged 3 days later. So it's cool to be able to call out some things like that, but it cost me money. I don't know. I think I've maybe $1,200 on SoLife, but it doesn't matter. You're gonna have ups and downs. Things are gonna rug. Get in the space, research, do it, be safe. Look at the good mints. Follow the crowds, ask the questions. That just because Barndog's talking about Metagates doesn't mean they're going to be any better than someone else. But that gives you guys a chance to be able to go and research and then ask us questions to ask them, do extra research for us. That's why sometimes doing these research videos scares me a little bit as a YouTuber, because if I put 7 projects on a video that comes out for 20 minutes, a lot of that I haven't spent 20 hours to research for that video. But out of the last one I did, Ramon Online, that looks awesome. Shade looks awesome, and the Lux, they all look good. So Ramon Online, that's an interesting one as well. Like, I'm not sure how many people watch that video. Any on stage have comments towards that, but the cinematic for it looked amazing. It very Lord of the Rings, Two Towers reminiscent, but they won't have anything out. We're lucky, maybe Q4 this year, maybe Q1 next year. And what, not a leak, some leak from that. Sixon actually took on board as a what are you on there? A mod, aren't you, on their Discord, Sixon?
Yeah, a mod, and that hasn't been released. That's a bit of a leak, but I'm allowed to leak the world info, so have a read, and that's going to be part of the game. But that's new, a bit of alpha there.
I've said it before, I love it. I reckon it's awesome that one of my mates has joined onto another game, joined onto another project, and hopefully we can do something with them at Grape, and that means maybe we can do a lore contest, maybe we can do a graphics contest, a design, get some prizes to our Grape members, and get some bums in seats. That's going to be a big thing. This is why I want to talk to Shade. Shade are going to be a team I'm going to continue to talk to. he was really cool to talk to him. He really reminded me, the main dev there, 28 roughly year old English guy, and he reminded me straight away of the Metagates team. He's a gamer building it out. He used to have a Twitch. He was streaming games and that, and now they're building their own. And it's a smaller team, 5 or 6 people. So that one there, Shay, definitely, they've got less than 1,000 people on their Discord, less than 1,000 people on their Twitter. That is early information that we were lucky at Grape to be able to research. But other big ones for the week, we are wrapping up on the half hour. Other big ones for the week, still, I'll remind people, Sovana, that's minting in a couple of days, and Eizper chain, they go on the 5th. I don't know. I haven't seen information. I don't know if Sergeant Savage, have you heard any information back from the whitelist? 6, and you whitelisted for that as well, didn't you?
Sorry, what was that again?
Eizper chain. Have you heard anything from the Eizper chain?
Oh yeah, I whitelisted for that. Fucking brain fucked up then. Yeah, I've whitelisted but heard nothing.
Yeah, I haven't heard back from them yet either, so maybe they haven't announced them. But that's on the 5th. We had them here for an AMA, got 2 NFTs for the crowd, so I'm cool to see that one. There was 1,800, I think, is their first mint, so it's not a lot. It's going to be a very small one. So obviously Savage saying the same. He hasn't heard from him, but I put in for a big boy pack, a 12 Solana big boy pack. I want to play games, and that means I want to get some people from the crowd in and great members in and stuff. We've got a discussion that's been popping up on my screen all night about potentially getting NFT tooling through Cardinal to try and help with our photo finish and potential projects from there. But I want to get some Grape teams in this year, and that's going to be next week as well. Next week we've got AMAs with, again a reminder, Mysteria, but that's going to be the 15th at 1500 UTC. Sorry, the 5th of February at 1500 UTC. Six and Sergeant Savage, Killer Machine, we're all going to, I don't know, maybe have a rum, but try and do that live. So not live, I should say. We're going to do it as a group together and enter in a group one wallet and potentially try to see how we go with that, whether our big brains are going to work. I'm going to record it and upload the video later, but I can't do it live because I don't want to ruin it for other people that are participating in the actual challenge. But we've got them here Wednesday, and Grape are going to get a chance to get level 1 clues. So we've got to airdrop that, or also try and get it, again, bums in seats. So I'd love it to go into the hands of people that are actually going to try to participate in the quiz. It's a free entry, so it's not costing anything. It is play to earn. So, it's going to be, those quizzes are going to give potential advantages. And there was a Medium article, let me link that out. There was a Medium article about the results from that. You can actually get that from looking at Mysteria, but I'll link it out in the live questions. Are you going to sit up for this one, Eggy? Are you going to be at home next week?
Yeah, I'm home back Friday, so yeah, I'll try and stay up for it. If I get selected for the whitelist.
No, we'll only get 2. I want to do this ridgy-didge as we can, you know what I mean? So I'll be participating. We'll be live on Discord. I'll be able to share screen and we'll be able to look at it together as a group, right? So they did have groups join last week, and they've got good ways of tracking through it and stuff. And this is stuff we're going to talk about live. So what if you've got 5 people all on Discord talking together, all trying to get the top 5 prizes? So obviously they've worked out what's been happening, and the second and third prizes went out to groups of wallets. So, I like the idea of doing it with me mates, and that's something that's just sitting down, chatting. You might have a coffee. It's 11 o'clock at night for people in West Australia. It's 1 a.m. my time. But because on a Saturday night, I sit up, we do Grape, and then after that, I'll go and do the Step N AMA. I'll be up till midnight anyway, so the time works pretty well for me. Killer Machine's joined in, so yeah, hopefully he sits up as well. It's a bit late for him. He's getting old these days, but we're hoping to have a good crack at it. As from that, I mean, yeah, see, Killer Machine, he knows he's getting old. He's sporting the poo pixel. He's changed. He's become a Web 3.0 member. Hopefully, we had someone on tonight, Kellen, that was talking about Monkdale, Solandale, Savage ears perked up. But I think we'll close it off there. It's not too much later than normal for once. There's always a lot of alpha to learn. Please, by all means, as a plug, I'll put this on YouTube later. If you haven't, go and check out Solana Gaming with Barn Dog. I try my best to keep up with the news, but if people have got extra stuff for me to have a look at and that, by all means, you can get a hold of me and Grape. checking in the Solana Gaming channel is I'm pretty active in those. I leave it open. I've got multiple screens open, so come and say hello if there's a specific game. We've got a new games research thread that helps to trigger. Sergeant Savage pre-leads the research there. Sixon also helps with that, and we try to use the information that we get from you guys. There is a spreadsheet that's available to be able to have a look at to see what we kind of rank as a 1 to 4 system for these projects and games coming out, and that's what I start to look at to be able to work towards what I'm going to be throwing up on a video. I'd love to do 2 new research videos a week, but I might actually just try to make sure they're a little bit more where I'm talking to the team. So I got to speak to Ramon online, to one of their lead devs this week, and I did for Shade as well, Shade, and chatting to him as hopefully going to lead up a partnership where we can get some whitelists for our members at Grape and potentially do a team. I'd love to do a team of races. I don't know how many people are going to be in a racing team, but it certainly reminds me of old Super Nintendo days. But as always, Eggy, cheers for coming on, man.
No worries. Thank you for everyone coming in. Thanks for listening in.
That's playable, Killer Machine. Shade's actually playable. I've got the download for it, but for some reason I couldn't get it working. But that'll be up in the next 48 hours. Eggy, any closing thoughts on any of the NFT art for the? They could have done better with the women characters. Any closing thoughts, Eggy? Anything at all?
No, just come along if you're interested and look at Metagates. Come along and join Discord. It's a great community. Check the game out. I think it's going to be a bit of a winner. It's right up my alley, and I'm very bullish on it, and I think they're going to deliver.
I'll go the other way and say again, thank you for Soliens coming on stage. I know Mac's still in the crowd, Kevin's on stage, but I'm super bullish for a project that puts half their money away into gaming in the Solana space. I'm super disappointed I didn't learn about them earlier, because it would have absolutely influenced my decisions in talking to them much earlier and getting them in for a full stage show. I'm impressed. They've gone balls deep into Solana Gaming much earlier than we did at Grape. Very heavy into Star Atlas, very heavy into photo finish. And I'm looking forward to doing some kind of joint events potentially down the track, like making a day at the races, getting the Metaverse going out, having a bit of fun, like Corona around the world's made it so we've had to do these events online and stuff, and it's Killer Machine's a bit dirty on Star Atlas still, but everyone, you guys have a great weekend, have a great week. There's plenty happening at Grape. Don't forget to check the calendars, don't forget to keep up to date. But thank you, Eggy, thank you everyone else. Did we get 2 prizes out tonight?
Just one.
So why don't we do one now for any of the last listeners?
All right, let's do it. Still a question. When the Soliens join Twitter, the first one to answer wins.
Soliens, when did they first join Twitter? Answer that in the live questions now. 1,000 grapes going to be yours. Did he get it? Who got that?
No.
No, so it's not November. That is wrong. It's good because it was talked about on stage.
Riptide won it.
Riptide. Oh, even Vincent. Vincent's been there since day dot. I love it. So the answer then, obviously, August 2021. Write him down, Eggy. I love it. Yeah, cool. I like it. And ideally, we're giving these prizes out to get people getting their from verified to Class C, and from Class C up to Class B. We want more B class members in the games and stuff. But I love it. Congratulations, Riptide, again on getting research at DAO. Thank you very much for helping us with all the extra work you're doing in the spreadsheets for getting this this, what do you call it, the protocol and Grape protocol into the syndicate. Bloodbath, welcome. It's good you've got power this week. But everyone, you guys have a great night. We'll close out here, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Mother, for the rabbits.